Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. So, welcome everybody. This the Rich Get Richard live stream. We talk about anything and everything. A lot of times people just ask me rapid fire questions, and I just answer them. A lot of people just like listen to talk about different money making tips, money saving tips. And I welcome everybody who comes in. If you're new here on any social media platform, I prefer you to watch on YouTube because YouTube pays me to be here and everybody else don't. I'm not saying that you have to go to YouTube, but I mean, it's just better to be on YouTube, right? Um, welcome everybody who's coming in from YouTube. I have a free class that's every Wednesday. Well, at least the foreseeable future. I might stop it here and there if I'm busy or I'm out of town or out of country or something like that. But if you see the link in the bio and it says this upcoming Wednesday, just click on the link and it'll like the date will adjust to whatever day I'm available. And we talk about everything about assets, credit, funding, business structure. I mean, just everything that every person needs to have. So I'm a real big advocate on the four pillars of finance, and everybody needs to know all these. And that's you know real estate, whether it's your own home or investments, ownership, controlling the process that make you money, vending machines, storage units, ATMs, a business. I don't care as long as it's you're controlling it, you own it, you bringing in income, and then your credit, personal credit and business credit, because you can use those lines of credits to get ahead in life, and long-term investing, stock market, ETFs, mutual funds, and none of that short-term crap. Right? We don't gamble here. We're trying to have long-term financial success and long-term wealth. Right? Some stuff we can pass to our kids. Right? And if our kids don't want it, them kids can sell it and take that money and have a better life than we had. That's one thing about us people that, or not even us people, just people in general. Sometimes they was never given anything in life, and they kind of resent the people that came after them because they get more, or people resent other people who have more. And it shouldn't be like that. You should look at it like, just because you didn't get something don't mean that the person that's under you shouldn't get nothing either. Right? Do right by yourself and do right by your kids. Right? A lot of people think that, my personal opinion, people think that life is about getting ahead in life. It's pretty much setting up an alley oop for the next generation, especially if it's your family lineage. You know, I'm not gonna say it's over for you, but I mean, you weren't handed something, and it took you a while to get somewhat ahead, or even. But you have to start looking at the big picture when it comes to that type of stuff, right? Everybody says generational wealth, but generational wealth is one of those like taboo words, right? I think that we all, if anybody who's watching this message or paying attention to this, you have the ability to set your family lineage up for the next 5, 6, 7, 10 generations if you do it right. And it starts with the four pillars. But come to the mentorship or come to the free class, we talk more about that. So I'm gonna get to the rapid fire questions and kind of see what we got going on today. Individual ask, they're trying to buy a home by January. Any tips? So let's get started. Any tips on buying your first home? Yes. Congratulations on your bigger thinking. I think if you really want to get in the home, I think it's always sooner, better now than never. Because if you're going to wait on the interest rates, the houses are going to go up in value. So you're not going to, the interest rate is going to be irrelevant. Either you can get a cheaper home now with a with a normal interest rate, and let's say if the interest rate go down, then You're just gonna get a more expensive house for a lower interest rate, and it's gonna be a wash or break even either way. So there's no time like the present, right? The best time to buy a home was yesterday. Best time, second best time is today. So you need to, first of all, you got to focus on your personal credit, right? Because no one's going to give you a loan if your personal credit sucks, right? So if you have an FHA, which is a first time home buyer program, that's 3.5% down, and you need a credit score of a 580. So anything, shoot for 20 points over just in case there's a buffer. So you should be shooting for a 600 credit score, paying your bills on time, paying down your debts, and removing anything negative off your credit. And then you got to focus on the down payment. The average medium home sales price in America is what, 340 or something? I don't know. I'll call it 400 just to make it easy. 3.5% of 400,000 is 14 grand. So you need to save up $14,000. And if I was you, I would come up with a plan to do that. I would do something like, okay, I need $14,000 by this time next year. That's $1,200 a month or whatever it is. And then you just put in, or $600 a check between you and your spouse or whatever you got to do. I don't care if you got to go side hustle. I don't give a damn you got to sell stuff. I don't care if damn you got to cut back or start saving more, not eat out as much, whatever. You know the goal, you know the target, you know when you got to get there. And just set a plan and just stick to it and go for it. And I'm sure this time next year you'll have the money, work on your credit, and find you a house that you like in a decent neighborhood. I'm sure you'll get there. But that's a great question though. All right, we got a question on here. How long would it take from start getting your LLC to get business credit for a down payment? So I've gotten people funded with business credit 3 weeks, 22 days of having their LLC. Their personal credit was great. They had their business structure, everything they needed for their business. They got their LLC on like, let's say the 2nd, and by like the 24th, 25th, they was already qualified. And I got them, $65,000, $70,000, whatever the hell it was. I don't remember. I just remember it was a short amount of time because you know what's crazy about it sometimes is you tell people what to do and people sit on their hands. People don't do what you tell them to do, even though they ask the question. Hey man, I'm trying to get a house. Okay, do this X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. See them 6 months from now. You did X? Nope. You did Y? Nope. You did Z? Nope. You did 1? Ain't got time. You did B? You did 2? Whatever. Nope, 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 nope. And it's just funny how it's like people want the knowledge on how to do stuff, but people don't want the execution of doing stuff. I don't ever really understand that. Why ask how to do something if you're not going to do it, right? So all you got to do is just do it, right? People say, what do I need for my LLC and all that kind of stuff for business funding? Cool. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And then they say, oh, wow, cool. And then I had one guy, and he was super, super serious. I was on a live on social media. And back then, I had a little kit that you can go get. I think I was selling it for like $5 or something. It was a kit in my bio that would explain to you the steps by steps on how to get an LLC. Now I just give it to you for free if you in the coaching program or the mentorship or in the community. I just give it to you for free. I don't even sell it for $5 anymore. It's not worth my time for $5. I don't care. So I just give it to you. But he went in there. He said, "Yo, man, I need an LLC." I said, "Oh yeah, I have a kit, $5 in the bio." He said, "I'll be back." I ain't like, whatever, man. I don't give a damn. I ain't paying no mind. So, man, dude, that dude came back. It had to be 25, 30 minutes later. Yo, I did all that. What's next? Like, what do you mean you did all that? He said, yeah, I just ran through the whole kit. It explained everything what I needed to do, and I just did it right then and there. This man pretty much set up a LLC, EIN, and everything that's attached to be a legitimate business. Everything in like 25 minutes. So it's funny sometimes people come to me and like, yeah, man, I don't know what I'm doing. What's going on? Dude, some people just kind of sit on their hands and some people just get it done, you know? But he just went for it and did it. And that's why I like my program or that kit, because it pretty much walks you through it. It's step by step. It almost spells it out. You almost can't mess it up. Some people do, but for the most part, you don't. All right, so when they're talking about their first home, I want to buy a first home with land. I'm a vet and my credit is not A1. Okay, so especially if you're a vet. If you're a vet, you can get what's called a VA loan. I'm gonna put y'all on some real game if you're a vet. If you are a veteran and you want to get a loan for a home and you want to buy the land okay, so there's two ways you can do this. You can either buy the house that comes with the land, or you can find the land and then build your house on the land. Okay, so if you wanted to buy a home that already has land, that's fine. A veteran, VA loan, home loan, you need a 620 credit score. 620 score, but we shoot for 10 to 15 over. So we'll shoot for a 630, 635, 640 credit score. You qualify for a VA loan. That's 0% down. If you need help with your credit, click the link in my bio, join the free class. We talk about getting your credit fixed or worked on or rebuilt, whatever you need. 640 is what you need to be shooting for, 0% down. So if you buy a house with land, 0% down, you might pay some closing fees, and you may pay a little closing fees and or an appraisal, a home inspection, and termite inspection. That's one more inspection too. I think like radon or something like that. But you might be out of pocket $1,500. Home inspection, they went up, man. Home inspection like $700. Termite inspection like $300, and then like the other inspections, there's like two other inspections I can't think off the top of my head. You might be out of pocket $1,500, but $1,500 to buy a house 0% down, that's a deal. And you get the best interest rates on the market. The average interest rate now is about a 6.8. Veterans get about a 6.4, 6.2, depending on when you're watching this, what the interest rates are. But you get a better interest rate. So veterans are the best way to do it. Or you can buy the land and then build your house. But what a lot of people don't know is you don't have to buy the land and the house separate. You just do what's called a single close, or a close. I forgot what it's called, but there's programs out there where you can find the land, buy the land, have your house built, and then don't make a payment until you move into the house. A lot of people think you got to go out there and buy the land first and then go out there and build the house on the land. Those are two closings. You don't want to pay double closing. There are programs out there where you find the land and then you build the house, and it's all one loan, and you pay it after the home is built. So if the house takes longer than you thought, you don't give a damn, because you're not paying the bill until the damn home is finished. And then when it is finished, you still walk after and inspect it. And then you have a home inspection on the house. And then you walk through the property and you figure out what's wrong with it. And then after you move in, you don't make your payment till 30 days after you close, which if you're going to build a house, that's the best way to do it. But yeah, I hope you found value in that. I hope you get some more information. If you want to learn more about home ownership, I have a lot of YouTube videos about it. But if you're watching from any other social media platform, just go to the Rich Get Richard on YouTube because, like I said, I get more or less paid to be here, right? Watch a 30-second ad and then you're in there. It's the same platform, it's the same stuff. It might be vertical or sideways, but you still get the gist. And if you want to follow on YouTube, that's fine. You don't have to, but you still get the same notifications on any other social media platform. Someone says, I have a 600 credit score or 670 credit score. I'm looking for investment in real estate. Which one should I do? Okay. So investment properties. Sorry, I take that back. Man, I messed that up. VA home loans are 620. Okay, yeah. No. VA home loans are 580. I apologize. FHA 580. They could be 560 to 580. VA home loans are 580. Investment properties for real estate are 620. Yeah, so now that I think about it, yeah, that's right. So you actually don't even need that much. You only need anything in the 600s can buy you your primary home. The house you live in can be only 600. So a lot of people say, "Yo, man, my credit ain't the best." It ain't got to be, right? But if it is in the fives, you need to go and do things to ensure your credit score goes up. One, you need to be below 30% or below 10% credit card utilization. First and foremost, right? You should almost, if you're thinking about buying a house, you should almost have no credit card debt. It almost shouldn't be a thing, right? You got to suck up them not having credit cards for a while until you get your house, and then you can go back to the credit card thing. Someone said real quick, what is considered a bad credit score? So a bad credit score, so it's kind of a weird terminology, right? So whenever it comes to credit, there's my opinions of what bad credit is, and there's a lot of people's opinion of what bad credit is. But if my credit needs to be a 600 to get a house, and the minimum for a credit score for get a house is a 580 or 570, then technically it's not bad. If your goal is a home, you need a 600. And I don't care what I think it is, right? If your goal is a house, you qualify for a house. Okay? But if you can't qualify for anything that you want to do, then you have bad credit. But I think that there's steps to it. One, you should get out of all consumer credit card debt. Okay? We're done with that shit. Then you need to be shooting for these key numbers when it comes to credit scores. 580. Next step, 620. Next step after that, 680. 580 can get you your first home and primary home or a VA loan or FHA loan or a traditional home. 620 can get you any investment property, credit score wise. And 680 can get you majority, you can get a business loan and or you can get majority of any credit card. 700 can get you 99% of all credit cards. So if you can get well, I'll give you 5 steps. I'll take that back. Let's do 5. 560 is the starter for cars. 580 is the starter for houses. 620 is the starter for real estate investing. 680 is the starter for businesses. 700, majority of, if not all, lines of credit cards. So if you have a 700, you got access to cars, You got access to first time home purchases or second time home purchases. You got access to purchasing real estate. You got access to buying businesses, and you got access to any type of business credit and business line of credit cards, and access to majority of personal credit cards as well. But that's a good question. So let's see what else we got. Any advice on HELOCs from Navy Federal? Lender tells me once the account has been established, I can't close it in spite of property decline. It is closed in the event of failure to make payments. Yeah, that sounds about right. So whenever you establish a HELOC, whenever you get a HELOC, the HELOC is attached to the home. It's almost, some people call it a second mortgage. Some people call it a HELOC, home equity line of credit. So I'll kind of break it down to you in a nutshell. So you have a home that's worth 500,000. You owe 200,000, meaning that you have $300,000 worth of equity. But why do you want to have that equity? You want to, use that equity for whatever. You want to buy some property. You want to pay off some credit card debt. You want to build an addition onto your home. You want to start a business. You want to buy a business. You want to do real estate. You want to invest. I don't know, whatever you want to do, use a HELOC for. So what they'll do is they'll take that HELOC and they'll put a second mortgage on your home. And that HELOC is almost now like a credit card. You can use it however you want to. So let's say you go and say, okay, I want to, whatever they approved you for, let's say they approved you for $150,000. Some lines of credit, they can go up to 90% of what your home is worth. Sometimes they do 75%, 80%. It depends on the bank and it depends on your credit and stuff like that. But let's just say they gave you a $150,000 equity line of credit. That means that you are tapping into that equity line of credit, and you use it's almost like a credit card, but it's attached to your house. It's $150,000. The interest rates are decent. They're better than credit cards. I know that much. They're like 8.5%, 9%, 10% now, depending. You slide that card, and it uses like a debit card, and they add they'll add that to your mortgage, right? They add up the balance at the end of the month, and then they send you a payment, right? Normally it's like 5% or whatever the payment is, minimal payment. So say if you went out with the Home Depot, Lowe's, and bought a shed, the shed is $3,000. So they'll send you a bill for $70. You can pay the minimum payment of $70, or you can just pay the whole $3,000 back. But it's just like a glorified. It's like I can't explain. It's like a credit card, but against your house. If you pay it all off, you just still have $150,000 worth of equity or a HELOC in that house. If you use all 150, then you have to pay a payment of, I don't know, $2,000, $3,000 or whatever the hell it is. And as long as you're making those monthly payments, you're good. But if you default, then they're going to sell your house and they're going to take their $150,000 back plus the $200,000, and you get the difference. But pay your bills on time, you shouldn't have any issues. And then also, when it comes to HELOCs, what they're saying is it's always attached to your house, so you can't get rid of the HELOC. You can always pay it down, but it'll always be there. If you owe nothing on it when you sell your house, say you owe $200,000 still, you sell it for $500,000, the HELOC is at zero balance, you get the $300,000 difference. About simple as it gets. If you owe 50 on the HELOC, you owe 250 on the house, that's 250. You sell it for 500, you get 250. They pay the $50,000 on HELOC and 200,000 balance remaining on the line of credit or on the business loan. That's pretty much that in a nutshell. Someone says, can I remove previous address if they are part if they were apartments for college? I don't know. Remove them off what? Your credit? Yeah, you can remove if it's not your current home, you can remove it off your credit. I think that's what you're asking. I'm not sure though. Are you considering a first time home buyer after a certain number of years if you own the house in the past? Yes. I don't know the stipulations because I've recently heard they changed, but if you bought a home, uh, I could, it's either 1 or 2 years. It's either 1 year, 18 months, or 2 years, right? Just for sake of argument, we'll call it 2 years. If you bought your first home using FHA, which is 3.5% down, and then I think it's 2 years after the first purchase, if you've sold, I think it's 1 year. No. I think it's 2 years if you still own it, if you're not living in it no more. And I think it's 1 year. I don't know. It's something weird. I really don't remember. But yes, there are some ways that you can buy another home using the FHA. You can buy multiple homes using FHA. I don't remember the rule, right? Because I ain't really qualified for it. But it's if you move out of the current house you're in and you live somewhere else for a year. Okay, yeah, I think I got it. If you move out your current home and you live somewhere else for 2 years, you can qualify for another FHA home. If you sold the house you're in and then buy nothing else for a year, then you qualify for FHA. I think that's correct. But it is what it is. Maybe I'm wrong, but you just have to look up. Man, you can Google that. That's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty straightforward. But yes, you can qualify for multiple FHA loans, especially if you sold the home or don't live in the home anymore. But if you don't live in the home, I think you got to wait like 18 months or 2 years. So you can actually buy a home, wait 6 months, move out, wait 2 years, and then buy another loan home at 3.5% down. I think that's what it is. That sounds right. Or if you sold the home, move into an apartment for a year, and then you can use your FHA again with 3.5% down. But you better off just instead of waiting a year, just using a traditional home loan, which is 5% down, especially if you made money on the property that you just sold. That's what I would do. Welcome everybody. I see some new people coming in here. I've never seen some of y'all names popping in before, but I really appreciate y'all being here. Um, if you on, depending on social media, just at least give me a like, maybe even a follow, tap the screen a few times, show your support. Like a lot of this game and a lot of this knowledge is free. I'm just on here answering general questions. But like I said, I kind of give myself a plug. If you want to move forward on something bigger and better, you want to be really, really hands on and take your financial future to the next level. I have a free webinar that's coming up that talks about um, repairing your credit, tackling credit issues, getting yourself funded to expand your business, buy a business, buy real estate, maybe even moving your business from a small operation to a medium-sized / bigger operation. Working on your business structure. If you want to set up a trust, you want to set up wills, you want to set up trust to where your kids can get a check for the rest of their lives. If you want to set up, you want to get into apartments, you want to get into syndication, you want to get into wholesaling, all that kind of stuff, man. We talk about everything. And you want to get into storage units, Airbnb, business acquisitions, absentee owned franchises. It don't make a difference. We talk about it all. But Journey of 1,000 miles. Start with one step. Click the link in the bio. Join the free class, and then we'll get started. So next question. Can you use an FHA after it has a Can you use an FHA after you have used a conventional loan? If you meet those parameters, if you meet the FHA parameters, which is don't live in a house for a year or sold your past house and not lived in anything for 2 years or something, you would have to look it up. But yes, a FHA loan, I know it stands for, it's like a first time home buyer assistance program, but that resets after a while. And also, too, what's cool is a VA loan. Every state VA loans have certain entitlements. So let's say in the state of, I don't know, Georgia's requirement for a VA loan is 755,000, meaning that VA loans you don't have to put any money down. If you have a VA loan, you put zero down, and your benefits are $750,000. Let's say you buy a $200,000 house, you live in that house for so many years, you can just go and now that $200,000 is going to be subtracted from your overall. But yeah, you got to, and then you got to go up in value too. You can't go down in value. You have to go up in value. So you buy a $200,000 house, then you buy 250,000, and now you use $450,000 of your entitlement, but you have 750, which means you can flip up again to a $300,000 house. But you got to wait, I think, a year, 18 months. You probably got to look up the bylaws, but yeah. But back in the day, I knew a guy who flipped up 5 times. Yep. 5 times, 5 houses, 0% down, kept all 5 houses. So when people say you can't find money in deals or you need money to make money, no, you don't. You just need to know what the hell you're doing. First home was like 80 grand. The next home was 120. The next home was 190. Next home was 210, or something like that. Just kept buying and buying and buying till his entitlement ran out. But now he's making enough money in cash flow to put a down payment on a regular house, which is an investment property. And now you're off to the races. But that's how you do it. Right? Keep flipping up. Keep flipping up. But yeah, if y'all are, I appreciate TikTok, Facebookers, Twitchers, which kind of weird. Every once in a while I get some Twitchers on here, but I never even promote on that site. I never put anything on there. I don't even know how it works. But I'm glad you're here. YouTube, I appreciate that. And if you're not watching, if you're watching from anywhere but YouTube, could you please get to YouTube? It helps me out a lot. Hey. But let's talk about, let's talk about the mentality it takes to like get ahead in life, because you'll be surprised. I think a lot of people want to be successful, but do people really put in the work to be successful? I think it's all fine and dandy, right? It's almost like everybody wants to have a nice body, but nobody want to work out. But if you asked everybody what it takes to work out, everybody knows the answer. So like, I'll just give a general question now. If somebody came to you off the street and they say, I'm gonna give you $100 if you could tell me 5 things off the top of your head for an average person to get in shape, what would they be? I'll give you $100 right now. $100 bill in your hand. If you can name 5 things that people can do to be in better shape. I mean, let me guess what you're probably thinking. Sleep more, sleep 8 hours a day, drink more water, no sodas or sweets, work out 3-4 times a week, Eat more protein. Right? Something along that range. Drink water, sleep more, work out 3 to 4 times a week, maybe an hour a day for 3 times a week. Stay away from the sweets and soda pop and eat more protein. That's probably 90% of y'all answer. And then, but America is one of the most obese places in the world. The point I'm making is that we all know the answers on what you need to do to be successful, right? America, statistically, or we're some of the smartest people. We have access to a lot of information. And then everybody, I feel like, is a know-it-all. Oh, have you ever heard of this? Oh, yeah, I know that. What about this? Oh, I seen that. What about that? Oh, yeah, I done that. Yeah, everybody knows everything, right? So what's the point? Why am I even talking? Right? You ask 100 people how to get in shape, they can tell you off the top of their head. But we have one of the biggest countries in the world. Right? I bet you everybody would earned $100, but I bet you everybody who got that $100 probably wasn't even in shape. And then I'll also explain to you, think about it like this too. When it comes to fitness, why are there 650,000 personal trainers in the world? If everybody knew that answer, why are there so many damn personal trainers in the world? You know why? Because people need accountability. You think a personal trainer's job is to get you in shape? It's to help you lift weights? Come on. Come on. No. A personal trainer's job is to make sure your ass get to the gym. Because getting there, it's like 80, 90% of it. The lifting and the pushing, that stuff is just, that's just the afterthought of getting there. Once you get there, then it's downhill, right? I've rarely been in the gym like, fuck this. I ain't never doing this again. This is so hard. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. Because your body releases endorphins that pushes you whenever you're working out. You actually feel better after a good workout. You just got to get your ass there first. Right? That's what personal trainers do. I like Angela Bassett's story too. Angela Bassett has a personal trainer, and she tells her personal trainer, I will pay you $100 a day for us to work out every day. 6 o'clock every day. If I am late more than 3 minutes, you charge me $50. If I miss, you charge me double. And if I complain anytime doing my workout, I'll pay you 3 times as much. And people asked her, well, why do you do that? And she says, because I know if I pay him to make sure I'm here on time and work me out and pretty much make me shut the fuck up, I don't want to pay him for me to bitch, and I don't want to pay him for me to be late, and I for damn sure don't want to pay for him for me to miss. So she put systems in place to ensure her success. It's pretty cool if you kind of think about it. She knows her flaws. She knows that she probably late a lot or late at times. She knows that she probably bitches. She knows that she want to call in and not make it. She knows if she calls in, that's going to be $200. She knows if she goes in there and bitch, about not wanting to do it, she gonna have to pay $300. She knows if she shows up late, she's gonna pay $50. So she's established systems, people, and teams to ensure her success. Now, if you Google Angela Bassett, I mean, at 60 something years old, you can tell, right? You know when people work out a lot. She's not messing around. And then I ain't even gonna go to her nutrition enough, nothing, but she has no junk in her house, and her chef pre-makes her food. He'll come over like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, makes her breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, and it's color coordinated. It'll have like B, L, S, D on it. Breakfast, dinner, lunch, snack. And then she has a couple of things in a pantry, and it says Angela Snacks, just in case shit happens. But if you get bored, you can just go Google Angela Bassett body, and you'll say, wow, she's 65? And you see why. Because it takes discipline. It takes hard work. She has systems and teams in place to ensure her success. Now, I'm going to put this on y'all. I'm not even going to make it about weight. What systems, teams do you have in place to ensure your success? Who's holding you accountable? Your boss? He don't give a damn. You just do the job to make his boss money or the owner money. You go about your way. Talking about real systems, some real progression, not work. Work is not a progression. Work is just a necessity to get through life. What systems you got in place? Who's holding you accountable? Who's ensuring that you are investing? Focusing on your credit? Who's ensuring that you're going ahead trying to find real estate deals? Who's ensuring that you're going ahead trying to find businesses or cash flow producing assets? Who's doing that? I'll wait. It's a handsome young black guy with two thumbs. That's where I come in, right? Because what I do is I give you a lecture. We have Q&A. I give you homework. I give you a lecture. Whatever the subject is of the day, we learn everything about that subject. And then we're going to put some homework there. We're talking about investing today? Cool. We're going to open up brokerage accounts. Mr. Richard, what's a brokerage account? Glad you asked. Let's talk about it. Now go open it up. And then next week, yeah, who opened up a brokerage account? I did. Well, I ain't get a chance. Well, why not? I've been busy. Busy doing what? And some people don't like to be held accountable. You want to be mediocrity for the rest of your life? That's fine. Not up in here, though. Not up in here, my boy. Oh, that's sweet. But if you're interested in that type of stuff, you're interested in talking about money, you're interested in talking about all that kind of stuff like that, about to get on YouTube, I'll see you there. Come on. I'll wait for you. Go to YouTube, type in therichgetrichard.com, and then ask any question there. I see those questions a lot easier than I do those other questions. It's just easier. Anyways, a lot of people ask a different question. So let's get to some questions. I see some popping in. What kind of business can you get with $10,000? So you have a few options. One, if you bought a business through the SBA, you generally have to put 10% down or 5% down, or even 2.5% down. But if you find a 2.5% down business, $10,000, you can buy half. My math off. 2.5. That's $400,000 business at $10,000 down. They're a little rarer, but you still can find them. And I've never heard of anybody doing a 2.5 down, but I heard that people can do it. Thanks for coming in. I see you. But what I would do is think about it like this. Let's say if there's a deal. Let's say if there's a business for sale and you only have $10,000. See, $10,000 is not a large amount of money. So, and let's do it like this, right? Let's say if you have $10,000, you want to buy a piece of real estate, or $10,000 you want to buy a business, or $10,000 you want to buy a storage unit, $10,000 you want to start an Airbnb, whatever you want to buy to make you money. I want that to be your target, and I want you to use $10,000 as an example, right? Whatever you want to buy, if you only have $10,000, how many times could you buy that object? Maybe once, right? But now let's say you have Bank of America's money or Chase's money or American Express money. How many can you buy? Pretty much unlimited, right? So here we go. I'm gonna give you an example of something. $30,000. Right? Individual says he has $10,000. It probably took him 10,000. It probably took him $10,000. He probably saved up $5,000 over the last 2 years. Let's say if you save up $400 a paycheck, 2 years you probably have $10K. How long did it take me to get $30,000 from the bank? And for those people that don't think I'm out here playing around, it's in here. I don't even need it. It's right there. I'll shake it so y'all don't see my damn name, but it's in here. It's a real card, right? Or any of these, Now, it takes you 2 years to raise $10,000. It takes me 2 days to go out and get $30,000 from the bank. Now, what would you rather have? $30,000 of someone else's money or $10,000 of your own money? That's what it is, man. So what is the average time from start mentorship to business acquisition ballpark, please? It really depends on the person. It really depends if you have your ducks in a row too, because before we even get to diving into businesses, you have to evaluate, you have to look at yourself and see if you have everything that's ready to receive a business. I mean, I'll use baseball as an analogy, right? Someone says, yo, man, I got drafted to an MLB team. If I went out there right now, how fast could I learn how to hit? I don't know anything about baseball. How fast could I go out there and hit a home run? I don't know. Do you have gloves? No. Okay. You got a uniform? No. You got a bat? Yeah, but it's a metal bat. Well, metal bats can't be used in the MLB, so we got to get rid of that bat. You need a wood bat. Do you have a helmet? I got a helmet. Okay, well, there's a start, right? We need to work on some things, right? Have you hit a ball before? I've hit a ball before, but not any good. Okay, so now we need to work on some things, right? First of all, you got to get a uniform. You need a helmet. You already have one. We can use that one. You need a uniform. You need some cleats. You're not going to be running baseball field in Nike, in Jordans, and some Yeezys. You need some baseball cleats. You need a real bat. All right. So now, once we get all that established, you got your uniform, you got your bat, you got your helmet, you got some cleats on. Now, let's focus on some hitting. And we're going to sit here and pitch until you get good at this. Now, I'm going to sit there just like this. Poof, 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 poof. You're going to be just swinging. Swinging, swinging, swinging. Clump. You hit something. Yeah, you got grounded out. Poof, poof. Hit. Okay, we're past second base. We're getting there. And you just keep practicing and practicing and doing it and constantly. And you constantly out there looking for deals. If you're constantly out there talking to owners, if you're constantly out there negotiating, if you're constantly out there doing all the things that I tell you to do, right? You're swinging too low. You're swinging too fast. You're too early. You're too low. You need to choke up on the bat more. If you do everything I tell you to do, you can do it. Right? You can do it. You know, some people come in, they get a deal right off the bat. And some people take them a while. So it just depends. One guy, I broke it down how he should do it. And then he started hitting the pavement. And I swear to you, man, he wasn't even in the mentorship. I comically think about 2 months. 2 months. Somebody, it was I think it was not a flower shop. Was it a flower shop? It was a flower shop, and the woman died who owned it. Her son was from overseas. He came over to handle the estate. He put it for sale on some bullcrap website. He found it. The guy says, I don't want to do nothing with it. I'm moving back overseas. I'm trying to sell this while I'm handling the estate here. And he was like, okay, what do you want for it? I think it was $120,000, but it was absentee, and it made $105,000 a year. And the guy said, you don't even have to pay me now. I don't need the money. You can just pay me later. So you're willing to do some owner financing. So he owner financed, listen to this shit. He owner financed an absentee business from a guy who mom died, who business it was. The guy lived overseas. He'll take payments over time. He just didn't want to deal with it no more. He couldn't, because he was overseas. He didn't want to deal with it. He just wanted to receive money from it. And he calls me and talking like, yo, man, this shit works. Of course it fucking works. What do you think I'm out here playing around? Right? And he said, what do I ask? What do I talk about? Cool. I gave him like 6, 7 key points. These are the things you need. You need this right here. Make sure it has this. Make sure it do this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, ABC. All right, cool. I'll text you back. I'll call you back later. I don't know. 3 hours later, he texts me and said, that was awesome. And I sent him a gift like this. But you gotta be swinging to hit a home run. Now, some people say, yo, man, I can't find any deals. And I say, when's the last time you swung? I ain't got time. Okay, well, make time. I don't want to hear that shit. I can revert back to Angela Bassett. She can easily say, I don't have time to go to the gym Cool. $200. Don't care. I'm getting paid regardless. I'm trying to give you the keys to the castle, man, but you got to do the work. I like the analogy my old drill instructor used to say, life ain't going to do the push-ups for you. It's like one of the best analogies in the world. Life will not do your push-ups for you. Oh my goodness. He could almost put that shit on a t-shirt. It's like the only person I've ever heard say that in my life. Life won't do your push-ups for you. Meaning that you have to do the work. If you want to be successful, you got to do the work. I can yell at you all day. I can hold you accountable. I can tell you to go do this. I can point you in the right directions. I can get people to call you. If you don't do the shit, it ain't going to happen. It's not. Can't get mad at me for you not doing the work. If I tell you to go here, do this, and do this, and then you message me 2 weeks later saying, yo, it didn't work. And I say, well, did you do it? You say, no, I just don't think it'll work. Which I get. Which is crazy. Which is crazy. Hey, Mr. Rich, I'm trying to do this. Okay, cool. Do A, B, C. Okay, cool. Thanks. A month later. Hey, what'd you get on that? I didn't get a chance to do A, B, C. I thought it'd be better to do 1, 2, and a little of 3. I said, well, 1, 2, and 3 don't work. You got to do A, B, C. Yeah, but I felt like it should be this way. Well, what results you get? It didn't work. And then message me a week later, man, I don't know if this stuff even works. No, you don't listen. You can't be smarter than the instructor. Doesn't work like that. And then complain that the instructions don't work if you don't do what the instructor tell you to do. Read pages 5 through 12. Yeah, I didn't really read 5 through 12. I kind of understood that. So I just skipped ahead and read page 25 through 30. Okay, well, the test is on 1 through 12. Yeah, I felt I already knew that. Okay, here you go. Here's your test. Yeah, I failed. Well, I told you to read 5 through 12. Well, you're not a good teacher. All right, dude. Hey, TT, what's happening? TT Love 2288. What is that? What the hell is 2288? That's your birthday? February the 2nd, 1988? You're not 35. 36? I thought you was younger. TT, what's happening? Get back to where you once belong. What can I do with 6,000? Wow, that's the same thing I just answered earlier, right? $6,000. What you need to do is be working on your credit, working on your business structure, and going out and raising funds from the banks, right? I'll show it again. This is me getting. Welcome to your new Business Essential MasterCard. Limit $30,000. Welcome to your new Essential Business Card. $30,000 limit. Now, what would you rather have? $6,000, $10,000, $15,000 cash? Or $60,000 of someone else's money that you can use however you want? Get back to where you once belong. Get back. That's a flex. This the flex. $1.3 million worth of line of credit. I don't want to show it too much, man. Y'all damn scammers, boy. Y'all be on it. And then the bad part about it is this is not even the flex, right? In my safe is my Centurion Platinum Black Card, which has a unlimited spending capacity. Unlimited spending. Credit. Not charge card. Anybody can get a charge card. Not everybody gets a Centurion Black Platinum credit card. Meaning anything under $250,000, no notification. $250,000 to $1 million, 3-day notification. $1 million up, I have to give them a week notification, meaning that I can go charge $1 million company on a credit card, $1 million house credit card, a Bugatti on a fucking credit card, 2 Ferraris, a Lambo. I go down to the Ferrari dealership, whatever, like, yo, I want it all. What it costs? What do you mean you want it all? I want the whole process. Well, including inventory, it's gonna be like $6 million. Cool, here you go. Click, 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 click. It's a black metal card. Click, 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 click. They say, damn, this guy ain't playing around. But I gotta give him a week notification. But let's be real. If you want to talk about a flex, that to me is more of a flex than any of the other shit, right? But if you really want to get to something, a different mindset or a different way to think about it, let's say if I put a business on a credit card. Let's say the business costs $1 million, but the payment on that credit card for a year, let's say it's $250,000. But the business makes you in cash flow $500,000 a year. Would that be a good purchase? Right? Would that be a good purchase? If I bought a business for $1 million on a credit card, boop, my credit card payment every year is $250,000. Let's say it's $20,000 a month. But the cash flow from the business is $500,000 a year. Oh yeah, I saw that you said you have a deal working. I didn't get a chance to read your message, but we'll talk about it. I'm gonna get you through it. See? Hey, can you? I don't. Can somebody is interested or thinking about getting in there? I don't want to say can you vouch for me because I don't need it, but I mean, could you like tell people like if you enjoy the process, do you learn? You know, kind of tell them about it. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. Gene, man, you in here? Hey, don't get the bragging now. Oh, for somebody, yeah, it's I'm in Florida. We on EST, Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, one thing about it is I get on these lives and I talk, and I give y'all a lot of information, and a lot of this is free, and it's almost like I'm almost like I'm holding back. I'm holding back. I hold back a lot of information, right? Because I can't just sit on here and just give you all the game, but I do hold a lot back. But once you get in there, You get into the classes, I give it all to you. I have no reserve. I'll tell you specifically where to go. I'll tell you specifically who to call, right? But the next free class is every Wednesday. Link in the bio. Click Be Your Own Boss. Yes, we have a speaker, but we'll talk more about it. Oh yeah, so East Coast. I don't know where you're based. I don't know where what time zone that is. Can you find one business on Rhode Island that doesn't require owner to be working? Yeah, that's easy. She even said it. She comes to the classes all the time. She probably learned more about that. She probably not even really into that stuff, but she learns just by being in there. Right? A lot of New York, Connecticut, Delaware, a lot of those businesses are absentee. There's a crap ton of laundromats up there. There's a crap ton of dry cleaners up there because a lot of people just don't have the capacity to have their own washing machine. So those things on every damn corner. Bodegas, sub shops, they're everywhere. You think them owners in there? Man, hell no. You ever see the Aki way? Make it the Aki way. Aki ain't the owner. He just works there. Wait, where the owner at? You don't see him. You know? I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. I don't think he is though. What about storage facilities? Storage facilities, yeah, you can get into that if that's what you want to do. But storage facilities are kind of weird because storage facility. Let me take this pill first. Storage facilities are kind of weird. You ain't got to. It's all good. I'll see you if I don't. I'll see you in the class if I don't talk to you again. Also, yeah, someone asked about storage units. Storage units are commercial real. This is what's crazy about storage units. This is what's crazy about everything, especially on the commercial side of real estate. People feel like, because people talk, and generally people talk about whatever they're into. So more likely, if you have a storage unit, you probably associate with people with storage unit. If you have an apartment, you probably associate with people with apartments. If you have a subway, you associate with other people who have subways. If you have, any type of industry, like if you have a certain type of dog, you probably follow a lot of pages with that certain dog on it. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. The more you have something, the better understanding of that you have. And when it comes to anything commercial real estate, storage units and office complexes and that type of stuff, people talk to each other and then people hype each other up. So, for example, especially I call them untapped ones, untapped storage units, right? Untapped. The class is free. Link in the bio. Especially like untapped mom and pop ones. Because what happens is real estate investors, wholesalers, and stuff like that will call mom and pops and say, hey, you want to sell your property? No, but what you give me for it? I give you $1 million. Nah, I'm good. Click. Hey, I want to buy your property. Well, what you gonna give me for it? I'll give you 950. Person offered me for it was $1 million. That's too much. Click. Hello. Yeah. What do you want for your property? What do you think it's worth? Well, somebody called me and said they'll give me $1 million. Cool. I'll give you 1.1. Well, I'm not for sale. And they constantly getting calls all day long. They probably get 2, 3 calls a day. I think 2 or 3 calls a week for people to buy their property. So after months, maybe years of that, they might get letters in the mail too. Yeah, I'll give you $1 million. I'll give you $1.5 million. Now they're like, wow, a lot of people want this property. So I'm gonna just put this shit on the damn market for $2 million, even though it's not worth $2 million. And now investors and the delusion of the owners are like making the markets almost unrealistic. But there are some untapped markets, but you got to know where to look and you got to know what you're looking for. So, but commercial real estate is a beast. You're competing with guys with millions and millions and sometimes billions of dollars looking for storage units. I know people, all they do is go look for storage units all day. Excuse me. They look for value adds, they look for undermanaged, they look for mom and pop bootleg ones that don't have any security and are undercharging. And they offer them $1.6 million cash. You wouldn't go in there talking about, I give you $2 million on the finance, and they're like, yo, piss off. Or, you got to go to the bank and put 20% down. That's $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 down, right? To get like, what, 9% on your money? It ain't worth it. So, but you can still find deals. You just got to know where to look. You got to know where to look. You got to know where to look. Know when to hold on. Know where to walk away. Know where to run. Are storage units your favorite absentee businesses? No, not even close. Not even close. I've had one storage unit. And I sold it after Christopher Michael Corrigan. How are you doing, man? My BFF is in the house, even though he been slacking on his friend duty. I'm gonna replace you with my dog. I'll see if he's still in here. He probably not. He probably just strolled through and bounce out of here. Yeah, strolling through. Can you buy a business with a DSCR loan? DSCR loans are pretty much reserved for real estate. But in all honesty, DSCR loans, they're kind of overhyped. I've done 2 and I wasn't impressed. So the DSCR loans is okay. So to even get in a DSCR loan, you have to put a down payment, right? And then what happened is they will cover you up to what the property can secure in rent. So for example, let's make these numbers easier. Say there's a piece of property that's worth $100,000. You get it under contract or get a purchase agreement for, I don't know, let's say $70,000, right? But it's worth 100. They're gonna say, okay, I need 10% down, which is $10,000, which is better than a investment property. An investment property is gonna be 20% down. 20% down, you can finance the other 80. That's 100% of the loan. So now what they'll do is you have a contract for 70. You put down 10%, that's $10,000 of what the property is worth. Or put 10% down on what you need to borrow. We'll say $7,000. So you need to finance $67,000. Sorry, $63,000. $63,000. And then they'll say, okay, what we'll do is we'll do what's called a DSCR loan. So DSCR loan means that Debt Coverage Service Ratio loan. So let's say if that property is written for $1,500, they'll say, oh, it rents for $1,500. That means that your payment needs to be $1,305. $1,305 means that you can get a loan for $64,000. So $64,000 means that you probably got to bring another $1,000, $2,000 to the table. But you get into a property with less money down. But now let's say if you finance $63,000. Okay, kind of a little weird math, but let's say if you finance the $63,000, you have $37,000 in this fucking property. You have $37,000 worth of equity. So what do you want? Do you want 20% of equity in the property, but you got to put 20% down? Or do you want to put down 9%, but have 37% worth of equity in the property? Like, what do you want to do? I know that it's kind of like confusing, but you almost better off sometimes just putting 20% down and getting a loan for 80% of the value of the home versus putting 10% down. The debt servicing covers 90% of the rent, but that's only 70% of the house. Sometimes they'll say, okay, how much you got the contract for? I got the contract for 70%, 75%. They say, yo, it ain't gonna work. 80%, it ain't gonna work. Because to pay the 80%, your payment will be, $1,600, but the rent is $1,500. You're losing $100 a month. You can't cover the debt with that kind of loan. So you got to reduce the amount you financed. Now you're at $70,000, but you have a purchase price for $80,000. So you can't do it. So, and I know it sounds kind of nerdy, but me personally, I'm not impressed with DSCR loans. People always say, yo, I get a debt service ratio coverage loan. That's just trash, man. Unless you, like the one deal that I got this house pretty much turnkey. I pretty much got this house turnkey, and I put in my debt servicing coverage ratio percentage was like 58%. I said, yo, 58%. So let's say if I have a $200,000 house, I would have to buy a $200,000 house for pretty much $110,000. Who the fuck is selling a house for $90,000 off? Not too many people. Luckily, these people was in distress and they was going to lose their home. So either they can sell it to me for pennies on the dollar, I pay them some kickback, and I got the property, or they're going to lose their property. That's the only reason I got it. If they wouldn't have took that, I'd have lost that deal. Yesterday, I invested $400 in VOO S&P 500 on SLAT at I'm doing something good. Am I doing something good? Hell yeah. Shit, get it. Everybody should be doing some investing. I've never heard of SLAT app, though. I never heard of that. I'll look it up, though, because that's what we do. Because if there's another product that other people can use or I can use, Slush. I never heard of it. A lot of people talk about Acorn. A lot of people talk about Robinhood. A lot of people talk about Webull. A lot of people talk about Fidelity, Betterment, all other kind of stuff. E-Trade. But hey, if it works, do they have like an expense ratio? Do they have any of that stuff? It has a good rating. It has a lot of subscribers, a lot of usage. Yeah, it looks legit. Yeah, I got it. ST Stash. Oh, my bad. I was reading the wrong. The Stash app. Okay, cool. I'll start. Did you like the process? Because I'll start referring people to go there too. Or what I'll do is I'll get an account there and I get like a $2 referral fee. Use my promotion code so I can make $2. It's all good. Easy process. Took a minute. And then you connected it to your checking account or debit card. And then do you have to do they do automatic deposits or do you have to do it every month? Yes, direct to the bank and auto. Stash then, all right. If you like it, I love it. Like, cause I always give people alternative ways to invest versus Robinhood. I don't like Robinhood that much. Robinhood restricted trading whenever GameStop was killing their ass. GameStop would have went out of business, man. Or a lot of these hedge funds would have lost billions of dollars more than they're supposed to. Are mobile homes or tiny home good investments? Yeah, if you buy them right. But if you want to learn more, Brown, we have a free class in a little bit. So click the link in the bio and join the free class. How long does it take the credit union to reflect your disputes on your credit? So what I like to people to do is I call it the smoke clearing, right? Because if you go in there and just start like, and all honesty too, every credit bureau and or every financial service reflects credit differently. So whenever you go to dispute, or they say if I went in somebody's credit report and I started knocking some stuff off, right? And let's say if I removed 8 late payments, 5 misspellings of your name, I added 3 good accounts, and your credit score, according to Identity IQ or whatever credit monitoring service you have, if it went up, I don't know, if it went up 50 points, I don't know. It takes every bureau is a certain day. I call it it's generally I call it every 35 days. So whenever we dispute, you have to give it 32 to 35 days after that dispute is cleared to reflect on your personal credit, the TransUnion, Equifax, and TransUnion and Experian. Whenever it reflects on that, then it reflects to all the credit card companies and stuff like that too. So generally, it takes 32 to 35 days. What do you do to do legal start a business? Well, first of all, no, hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Jr.? First of all, you need to start doing is you need a place, you need an entity, right? S corp, C corp, sole proprietorship, and or an LLC, a limited liability company. So yeah, that's the start. First of all, you got to establish what kind of entity you want to get. LLCs are the easiest to start, and they're all the most common ones. But whenever you start moving up in the ranks and getting more money and getting more employees and getting more know-how and you want better tax advantages and stuff like that, then you got to start moving up to that other stuff. But I tell people to always start with an LLC. With an LLC, you're gonna need a tax ID. It's like the social security number for your business. You get that from the IRS. That is free. You go get your LLC or S corp or C corp. You get your LLC from the Secretary of State, and or you can go to like houses like Buzzy or LegalZoom, but that's a start. But if you want me to walk you through that whole process, I mean, it's not that hard. Well, it can be hard, but it's a lot more that you need to start doing, right? And I can just give you the website links and take you straight there, right? I had one student. Well, he really wasn't a student. He was just a guy that wanted information. I gave him the links to go do it. He pretty much had everything he needed for an LLC in 23 minutes. What's the difference between the Vanguard ETF, Vanguard Index Fund, and a Vanguard ETF? One tracks, one is a specific sector, and the other one is the top companies tracked from the S&P 500, which is appreciate it, man. It's tracked through the Standard & Poor's 500. So I'll give you a kind of overview, a synopsis of what that is. The S&P 500 stands for Standard & Poor's. It was two guys that what they did is they said that we want to track the top 500 companies on the Dow Jones or the NASDAQ. We want to see what the top companies are. And what they did is they ranked the top producing or the top companies that make money in America. And it's only one criteria. It ain't about who the CEO is. It ain't how long the company been around. It ain't who's more in the press. It ain't about Democratic or Republican. They don't give a shit. It is the top money producing companies in America in order. That's it. No politics, just money. And if you don't make the cut, a company that's 501 and a company that's 499 makes or break the amount of money you receive. It's almost like coming in last place in the Olympics. Being at the Olympics is its own thing, even if you do come in last. I'd rather go to the Olympics and come in last than be the first runner-up that didn't go. Because I can always tell people, yeah, I was an Olympian. Not everybody can say that. Only 500 companies in America can say, yo, we're on the S&P 500. That's tracked as the top companies in America. So whenever you want to track, or, one thing I like about ETFs are when you invest in an ETF, you get all top 500 companies in America. It's not tracked by me. It's not tracked by the government. It's tracked by a company, and all they do is look at the top 500 companies that make the most cash. That's it. So let's throw some numbers out there. If you had to guess, what would be the number one making money company in America right now? Anybody want to guess? If you had to look at the top of the S&P 500, which means the top company, top-based American-based company in the nation, what would you guess? It's an actual company. Someone said oil. No, not oil. Not Amazon, not Berkshire Hathaway, not Apple, not NVIDIA, not Boeing, not Amazon. Y'all are close. Not NVIDIA. NVIDIA is up there. NVIDIA is kicking some butt. Someone says Libby. Someone says Tyco, no. PayPal, no. Someone says BlackRock, no. BlackRock is a hedge fund. Hedge funds don't generally track on the S&P 500. They're not a company. They're a group of investors who invest their money. GameStop, I don't think GameStop is even top 500. Microsoft, someone said Microsoft, and you would be ding, 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 ding. Correct. Microsoft is the number one company in America right now. Makes the most money. All right, let's go for number two. Screw it. We in here. We having fun. Number 2, thanks for the gift. Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the roses. Number 2 company in America right now. Come together right now over me. Some people say Tesla. Thank you for the rose. Thank you for the rose. Thank you for the rose. Bank New York. What? Appreciate you, Fortnite guy. Thank you for being here. GM. Good morning. Good night. I'm going to bed. Or good morning, however you want to see it. The answer is Apple. Good job. Apple. All right, so what's the number 3 company in America? Everybody knows Microsoft. Everybody knows. Everybody knows Apple. Everybody knows Microsoft. What's number 3? Someone said Tesla. Nope. Someone said Apple. No, Apple's 2. Get back to where you once belong. Facebook. No. Hell, Samsung. Hell no. Intel. Intel like 200. Intel ain't even in the ballpark. Amazon. I think someone said it. I ain't see it though. The screen's flying. The wording is flying by fast. I can't see it. Get back to where you once belong. At Dibs. I'll give you a hint if y'all didn't say it already. It starts with an N. Google? No. Get back to where you once belong. NVIDIA, yay! Anybody who don't know me, I'm telling y'all, man, NVIDIA is the hottest company in the world, in the United States at least right now. I think it's only 3 because it doesn't have a big track record. It ain't been doing massive numbers for a long period of time like Microsoft and Apple. All right, number 4. All right, what's number 4? Don't ask me, $1 million baby. What is that? A groan? All right, what's number 4? We have Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA. What's number 4 on the top companies in the world or in the United States? Don't ask me, $1 million baby. I ain't never represent, baby. I feel like paying $1,500 for a 500 square foot home, complete the full of people, the greatest scam that no one's talking about. Yeah, about right, man. Boeing, Nationwide. No, you just said it. Triple. You said as much money as you spend at this company. Don't ask me, $1 million baby. Amazon, yay! So think about it. There's a computer software company called NVIDIA that makes AI and computer software chips and makes video games software and hardware for like Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox, and that kind of crap. That does more money than Amazon. It's nuts to even think about. It's almost crazy to think that there's other companies than Amazon, Apple, or Microsoft that's doing those kind of numbers. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, Amazon is 4. Okay, let's go for number 5. What's number 5? Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. And for those who just got here, I got a free class coming up. Click the link in the bio and join the free class. Don't ask me, $1 million baby. So number 5. Number 5 is a little harder. Number 5 company in the nation. $1 million baby. Meta, Facebook. For you to say Meta or Facebook means you looked it up. The link is broken. Matt, just come to my go to TikTok or go to Instagram or something like that and you can find the link. It shouldn't be broke. So Meta is number 5. What's number 6? Anybody? Number 6. Microsoft is 1. Apple is number 2. Everybody know what Microsoft and Apple is. I don't even know why Microsoft makes so much money. Xbox, operating systems and laptops, Windows. They own some other companies too. Apple, I'll give you that one. NVIDIA, computer chips, software. Amazon, Facebook is number 5. What's number 6? And after we get through 6, I'll just give you the rest because y'all probably won't get them. Number 6 and number 7 are Google. Google's so big, they're on here twice. So Google has a search engine. Google has research and development. Google has YouTube AdSense, which are 3 different companies. It's so big that it's made up of 3 different companies. So yeah, because of clouding computers. Oh yeah. So yeah, next is Berkshire Hathaway, Libby, and Chase. Chase and JP Morgan combined. Broadband Lilly dropped off the top 10. And out of the top 10 companies in the S&P 500, out of all the 500 companies, 33% of all the money in the United States are in those 10 companies. So if you took all the money in the top 500 stocks in America, Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, Amazon, Meta, Google, Berkshire Hathaway, Lilly, and JP Morgan Chase. It's 33 to 35% of all the money in the stock market. It's crazy. It's crazy how that works. If those 10 companies collapsed, we'll be eating like cavemen. But hey, what do I know? I'm glad y'all watching and glad y'all following and glad y'all listening. LX Media, thanks for following. Someone asked a question. I'm gonna stroll back and kind of get to it. I missed it. So out of all 10 of those, if you had to pick one, um, hey man, Rico, that's a good question. If I had to invest in the top companies in the nation, which is Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, Google, Berkshire Hathaway, Lilly, and JP Morgan Chase. If I just had to do any one, I would. Okay, I'm gonna give you a short term, middle term, and then I'm gonna give you a long term play. Short term, you gotta ride. You gotta ride the big horse in the room. Nvidia is the hottest stock pretty much in the nation now. I know people who manage major hedge funds. I know people who work at their big Wall Street execs. I know people who work for big think tanks, meaning that they sit in the room all day and they analyze the market and they advise, you know, the big dogs. They're called think tanks. They're just people, nerds that just sit around and talk about money all day. And they give their opinion on what the stock is going to do, making $100,000 to $500,000 a year just sitting in the room talking about money all day. I wish I thought about doing it. I got a couple job offers, but I hate working for people. So Nvidia is the hottest thing since sliced bread now, and I think it's going to be like that. And it has so much upside. It hasn't split. It hasn't reached its full potential. It has nothing but upside. AI is not going anywhere anytime soon. Computer chips ain't going anywhere soon. They're just getting smaller and better. It just split. Shit, I'll take it. Thanks. I ain't heard anything about it. I'll take your word on it. I play the long game. I don't care. It can split 50 times. Don't care. Medium. If I had to go for like the medium, probably over the next 10 years, you really can't. I think Microsoft, Meta's kind of like not it. Google is kind of pegged out. Chase, not so much. Nvidia, probably the same. 10-1 split just happened. Hey, I'll take it. Mr. Chad, what's happening? 10-1 split. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Never mind. I do remember that now. Now that I think about it. The long play, you got to go with hot Microsoft. If I had to do a 10-year play, 20-year play, words and Windows are going to be around forever, man. That shit ain't going nowhere. It's already back to 150. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. 140. Yeah, I bought right before the split and right after. I bought a lot. I want to say 60K. 60K right after the split. So, yeah, I'm sure I'm up. I don't even check no more. Dollar cost averaging, buy and hold, buy and hold, buy and hold. But you can get all of those in an ETF, right? So why take a chance on just getting Nvidia, or take a chance on getting just Microsoft, or take a chance on just getting Tesla, right? You get the ETF, or you get an S&P, or get an index fund or an ETF that tracks the S&P 50, or track the S&P 100, or check the S&P 10, right? Where you only get the top 10 companies, right? If the top 10 companies are 33% of all the money in U.S. circulation, or in the stock market, why not just track all that? Because that's just statistically going to make more money than anything else. But that's a good question. I never really thought about it like that. If I just had to get one, right? Shit, I'll just get the ETF and get them all. Just a better play. QQQM is okay. I prefer QQQ, and I prefer SPY. I prefer VOO. Individual stocks. I've been bullish on Coke for years, man. They've been kind of pegging out. I've been bullish on Apple for years, but they ain't pegged out yet. I've been bullish on NVIDIA, but it is what it is. And some other companies, I don't remember what I got into, but yeah, I do some crypto, but I don't like to talk about it on social media because I don't want you to think that I invest heavy in it, and then like someone will record this and soundbite it and say, Mr. Richard said he invests in crypto, and then someone gonna use that clip and damn try to get you to send them $20 to Nigeria or some shit. I ain't doing that. So I'll just say no crypto. I say no to crypto, but you should hold some, not a lot. Maybe 5% of your portfolio should be crypto, right? And then I stick to the major stuff: XRP / Ripple, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Max. That's it. Everything else is trash. Everything else is trash. And if those don't work, then it won't work at all. At least in my opinion. But what the hell do I know? Do you do dividends in ETFs? Some dividends do pay you dividends. Some do pay you dividends. But yeah, shit, I got a damn. Shit, I gotta go somewhere in a sec. Damn. But I'm gonna give a quick disclaimer and quick due diligence. Oh my goodness. Oh. So if y'all watching on any social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Clapper, I don't know. I'm on everywhere, right? But I stream to all different places. If you on there and you find value in this type of stuff, just make sure you follow, turn your notifications on, and next time you come through, ask the questions that you want to ask. If you're more serious or serious about, maybe even fixing your credit, you serious about getting into real estate, becoming a real estate investor, buying your first home, you're interested in buying a business, you're interested in buying storage units, you're interested in buying assisted living facilities. I don't give a damn. You're interested in ATMs, side hustles. I had an individual message me the other day talking about, yo, I want to buy one of those ice machines that sit in the parking lots. Yo, that's too easy, right? They're like $25,000, $30,000 a piece, right? If you want to get business credit or business funding, you can put 3 of those on a card, find a location, and then whenever the money starts coming in, just pay off the credit card debt or pay off the line of credit. And then when the line of credit is paid off, everything after that is yours. It's profit. You can sell it to someone else, or hell, you can buy an existing ones. Too easy, man. That's the type of stuff we talk about. I have a free webinar that's coming up. Link is always in the bio. Sign up. I don't sell your information. I won't flood you with text messages. I'm not that type, right? Like if you want to join and you serious, let's go for it. If not, you have a good day. But hope you find value in this. Make sure you following. And yeah, have a good day.